Jane Dixon just dropped a bold forecast for 2026. 6 zodiac signs are poised to win big, not by accident, but because timing, structure, and a few decisive moves line up in their favor. If you're one of these signs, this year could open doors that have been closed for a long time. If you're not, the patterns still matter, because the same rules of timing and preparation can be used by anyone. Not financial advice, for timing and mindset, context only. Here's the list up front, so you know whether to keep listening. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Leo, Scorpio, Capricorn. According to Jane Dixon's 2026 overview, those 6 signs show the clearest energetic alignment for major financial acceleration when timing and action meet. Stick with me. I'll walk you through the months that matter, the behavior that unlocks opportunity, and the practical steps you can take immediately. If this is landing on you right now and you want the deeper sign-by-sign breakdowns as they go live, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any of the specialized guides we'll release for each sign. Why 2026 feels different, and what win big actually means. Jane Dixon's read on 2026 isn't just about a lucky week or a spontaneous windfall. Across her month-by-month notes, she flags specific windows. Think March surges, September accelerations, November culminations, where energies push people into higher visibility, new contracts, and scaled income systems. But the headline is important. Astrology provides timing and tendencies. Translating that into life-changing cash flow requires discipline, preparation, and scalable structure. Winning big here means moving from one-off luck to results that compound. A major deal that becomes recurring revenue, a partnership that elevates your platform, or a pivot that unlocks a new income channel. This is not a promise of guaranteed outcomes. Jane Dixon predicts strong potential and timing patterns. How you act on them matters, not financial advice, for timing and mindset, context only. A few themes keep repeating across the signs Jane highlights. First, timing beats random hustle. There are months when opportunities are unusually favorable, but those months favor people who are ready to execute. Second, structure turns spikes into stability. If a surge comes and you don't have systems, it's a moment that passes. Third, reputation and collaboration are frequently listed as the multiplier. Projects that plug into people or platforms with credibility scale fastest. Finally, there's a clear distinction in Jane's forecast between sudden windfalls and sustainable gains. The 6 signs we'll focus on have readings that suggest both immediate leaps and the capacity to lock in long-term momentum. Aries, the breakthrough sprinter. Aries is being framed by Jane Dixon as the sign most likely to convert decisive action into breakthrough status. Think of Aries in 2026 like a sprinter at the blocks. The gun goes off in specific months, and if you launch cleanly, you can pull ahead quickly. The key months Jane highlights for Aries are March, September, and November. In her notes, March appears as the acceleration month, a window where visibility shoots up and early movers can lock down pivotal agreements. September is described as a surge month where momentum compounds. What started earlier suddenly attracts collaborators and leverage. November reads like a culmination period. Negotiations come to a head, and structure put in place earlier begins to deliver measurable returns. Behavioral levers for Aries in 2026 are straightforward. Focus your decisiveness, channel impulsive energy into strategic launches, and build minimal but reliable systems to capture gains. That means less scattered action and more disciplined follow-through. Instead of chasing every new idea, pick 1 or 2 plays and plan precise execution steps for the March and September windows. Practical steps Aries can take right now. Audit your offers and remove friction. Make it simple for someone to say yes. Update your most important one-page pitch, price clarity and delivery timeline so that when a lead appears, you can move quickly. Prepare a sprint calendar. Map March, September, and November with specific milestones and 72-hour execution plans. Block time now so you're not building the plane in mid-air. Document agreements. Create templates for contracts, invoices, and onboarding so a sudden influx of work doesn't get swallowed by chaos. Memorable image. Aries 2026 is a sprinter whose starting pistol is March. If you're already in your stance, you'll cross the line while others are still tying their shoes. Interpretation note. Jane Dixon consistently signals March, September, and November as high-impact months across multiple forecasts. Applying that pattern to Aries reflects the strongest clustering of acceleration, surge, and culmination language in her 2026 reading for signs in the action-oriented quadrant. This is an interpretation of Jane Dixon's overall emphasis on those months for decisive, visible moves. Taurus, the patient architect of growth. Taurus's 2026 story, according to Jane Dixon's patterns, is about disciplined scaling. The energy reads like steady, compound growth rather than a single dramatic jump. But those steady gains become substantial. Key months to watch for Taurus are May, July, and November. May surfaces as a month for reassessment and securing foundations. Think contracts, legal clarity, and tightening cash flows. July carries opportunities for expansion and new revenue channels, particularly through collaborations that respect Taurus's need for stability. November again appears as a pivotal month for recording results and formalizing systems that will turn short-term wins into long-term income. Taurus has to lean into what it does best: structure, resilience, and a long-game mindset. But the caution for 2026 is to avoid complacency. The energy Jane maps rewards people who add intentional layers to their routines: automated billing, repeatable client funnels, disciplined savings rules, so that when July's expansion arrives, the business can absorb and scale. Practical steps Taurus can take right now. Build or audit a recurring process. Set up a subscription offer, monthly package, or retainer structure that can be scaled without daily intervention. Create a stability folder. Centralize documents for contracts, onboarding checklists, and vendor contacts so you can move quickly when collaboration opportunities appear. Focus on margin improvement. Review pricing and costs to ensure extra revenue doesn't disappear into avoidable expenses. Memorable image. Taurus in 2026 is an architect adding one solid level to a building each month. By year's end, the small, steady additions make the skyline. Interpretation note. The months cited reflect Jane Dixon's emphasis on spring and midsummer restructuring followed by late-year consolidation. This reading balances Taurus's natural long-term approach with the time windows Jane flags for expansion and formalization. Gemini, the convertible communicator. Gemini's edge in 2026 from Jane Dixon's perspective is timing-driven visibility through communication and connections. The months highlighted for Gemini are March, May, and October. March again appears as a month where ideas and visibility accelerate. For Geminis, that often happens through a new piece of content, an introduction that goes viral, or a short-term project that creates authority. May is a consolidation window where you convert attention into offers. Systems that capture leads are most valuable. October is a pivot month. New formats, monetization tweaks, or partnerships launched then can define the last quarter and carry into next year. Gemini's challenge is to turn bright, fast-moving attention into systems. When you're naturally gifted at starting conversations and creating buzz, the missing piece is often the capture mechanism. Jane's forecast suggests that the communication spark will ignite around those months, and the winners are the ones who have set up durable funnels to convert attention into income. Practical steps Gemini can take right now. Prepare a content-to-conversion map. Assign each content type a clear follow-up action: email capture, free resource, call to action, so that every piece of visibility builds a funnel. Build a partner outreach list. Identify 10 high-leverage collaborations you can propose during the March and October windows. Stockpile concise proposals so you can act fast. Standardize your onboarding. templates, checkout flows, and welcome sequences that turn new subscribers into paying customers without extra friction. Memorable image. Gemini in 2026 is a convertible. When the right wind hits in March or October, drop the top and let the momentum roll, but have a garage ready to shelter the gains. Interpretation note. Geminis frequently show up in Jane Dixon's month-by-month notes tied to communication spikes. Applying March, May, and October to Gemini reflects the pattern of idea acceleration, conversion windows, and late-year pivot opportunities present in her broader forecast. Why these three first signs matter, and the pattern they form. Across Aries, Taurus, and Gemini, a pattern emerges. Early to mid-year acceleration requires decisive launches, Aries, steady systems cement the gains, Taurus, and communicative amplification turns those into scalable income, Gemini. Jane Dixon's reading repeatedly connects months where momentum appears, often March, with summer windows for expansion and late-year months for securing results. The sequence is simple: launch, systematize, amplify, finalize. If you can line these steps up in those key months, the energy favors outsized results. Now, a quick reality check. Jane Dixon's forecast is about timing and potential, not guarantee. Markets shift, personal circumstances change, and astrology is a tool for identifying opportunities, not a guarantee of outcomes. Use this as a framework to sharpen your plans, not as a substitution for due diligence and responsible decision-making. Before we move deeper into the next signs and the tactical frameworks that will help all six capitalize, take a breath and note one practical, immediate checklist item that applies regardless of your sign. Capture readiness. Set up one place where you store contracts, pitch templates, pricing lists, and a 30-day execution calendar. If momentum arrives unexpectedly, having these basics ready will turn a moment into momentum. Please remember, not financial advice. For timing and mindset, context only. Leo, the visibility monarch, teaser, Jane Dixon's notes position Leo as a sign where reputation and authority can see major upgrades in 2026. The months that flash brightest for Leo in the forecast include February, June, and September. Windows when public shifts, platform elevation, and high-profile collaborations can accelerate growth. But there's a specific caveat. The quality of visibility matters more than quantity. For Leos, strategic exposure, a curated partnership, a keynote opportunity, or a featured media placement carries outsized reward. The leap isn't just about being seen. It's about being seen by the right people in the right context. Action orientation for Leo will require polishing public-facing assets and preparing a narrative that shows why a platform should elevate you. Have a clear value proposition and a concise story that explains the transformation you deliver. That way, when a visibility window opens, you translate attention into authority and revenue. Scorpio, the strategic lever, teaser. Scorpio's forecast reads like quiet power turning into leverage. Jane Dixon flags months such as April, August, and November as high-potential windows where private negotiations, investment of influence, or discrete partnerships can produce major gains. Scorpios can use emotional intelligence and negotiation discipline to transform relationships into scalable projects. The forecast emphasizes depth over flash. A single shrewd agreement or position shift can dramatically increase long-term ability to generate income. Capricorn, the structural climber, teaser. Capricorn's energy in 2026 looks like institutional elevation. Jane Dixon highlights months, including January, July, and December, as times when status, promotions, and formal restructuring can create durable increases in wealth. Capricorns who focus on governance, systems, and reputation management are likely to benefit. The big idea for Capricorn is turning incremental promotions or added responsibility into systems that deliver ongoing upside. A common thread through all six: timing plus systems plus alignment with reputation and collaboration. If you step back, The through line in Jane Dixon's forecast for these 6 signs is clear. Timing creates opportunity. Systems convert opportunity into stable gains. And collaboration or reputation acts as a multiplier. That's why the months matter. They're the windows when the cosmic currents are most likely to favor real-world moves. But the months alone don't do the work. If you don't have basic systems and templates, you'll still feel the energy but miss the conversion. What separates the 6 signs Jane singled out from the others is not a mystical lottery ticket. It's the constellation of indicators in her notes that show both immediate momentum windows and the fields in life where each sign can apply practical leverage. Aries gets acceleration in action-oriented places. Taurus gets structural growth and compounding. Gemini gets visibility and conversion. Leo gets reputation elevation. Scorpio gets strategic leverage. Capricorn gets institutional climbs. Those combinations suggest both the potential to win big and the practical pathway to make it last. But we're not done. There are detailed, month-by-month tactical moves that apply specifically to each sign. We've just scratched the surface for 3 of them. The next sections will unpack the remaining signs in full detail and then move into cross-sign tactical frameworks, checklists, execution templates, and examples of how to turn a single window into multi-year momentum. Before that deep tactical dive, a quick reminder. Jane Dixon's forecast offers timing and patterns, not guarantees. This guidance is intended to help you align action with opportunity. Take it as a planning tool, not a promise. Not financial advice, for timing and mindset context only. What to prepare in the short term. Immediate readiness that increases conversion odds. Even before you hear the full breakdown for Leo, Scorpio, and Capricorn, there are high-leverage things you can do that apply across signs. These are not investment tips. They're organization and positioning moves that let you turn momentum into measurable gains if and when the windows arrive. 1-page clarity document. Create a single page that explains your core offer, your ideal collaborator to your client, and the exact next step you want them to take. Keep it concise and shareable. If someone asks, "What do you want?" you can answer instantly. Contract and payment templates. Have a simple, lawyer-reviewed template for a short-term agreement and a clear invoicing process. Speed converts interest into revenue. Delays kill momentum. Relationship priority list. Identify the top 10 people or platforms that could change your trajectory if they share or partner with you. Plan a respectful, value-focused outreach sequence you can deploy in a 48 to 72-hour window. These steps are tactical, low-cost, and fast to implement. They won't create opportunities by themselves, but when Jane Dixon's windows arrive, they dramatically increase the probability you'll convert visibility into income. A pivot point. The difference between a lucky spike and lasting win. One of the clearest distinctions Jane Dixon makes is between transient luck and lasting gains. A lucky spike, a single viral post, a windfall check, an unexpected group of customers can feel like winning big. But without systems, that moment rarely changes your baseline. Lasting wins are built when you combine timely action with scalable infrastructure, recurring offers, repeatable onboarding, and distribution channels that work without constant reinvention. In the segments to come, I'll show examples for each of the remaining signs of what a transient spike looks like versus a durable win, and the concrete systems that shift one into the other. We'll also map the most likely months for each turning point and exactly what to prepare in the weeks before those windows open. Hold that momentum in mind. March, May, July, September, and November show up repeatedly in Jane's calendar as months where shifts intensify. Which months matter for you depends on your sign and your specific situation. But being ready in any of those windows increases your odds of converting any sudden opportunity into a structural advantage. Preparing your psychology for 2026. Beyond checklists and templates, there's a psychological layer that Jane Dixon keeps spotlighting: readiness to act without perfection. A lot of people wait for a perfect landing, the flawless pitch, the fully finished product, and an energy window passes. The forecasts favor those who are ready enough and who have the discipline to iterate quickly. That means embracing a two-part mindset. Prepare thoroughly where it counts, contracts, pricing clarity, systems, and allow flexibility in creative execution. Testing offers, headline tweaks, quick partnership pilots. A short mental workout to do right now. Decide your ready enough threshold. List 3 things that must be in place before you launch in a window, e.g., clear price, one-page offer, onboarding flow. If those exist, you're likely ready. Practice a 72-hour execution sprint. Pick a minor project and complete it in 72 hours. The practice of rapid completion reduces future friction when a major window arrives. Rehearse a concise value statement. Write and memorize a 30-second explanation of what you offer and why it matters. These psychological preparations reduce hesitation, and in Jane Dixon's pattern language, hesitancy is often what differentiates those who merely experience a spike from those who lock in a win. Where we're headed next, we've opened the map. The 6 signs Jane Dixon highlights, the broad months that matter, and practical moves for Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. The next stretch goes deeper, full month-by-month unpacking for Leo, Scorpio, and Capricorn, followed by a tactical toolkit that walks you through exactly what to do in the 30 days before each highlighted month. We'll also examine real-world archetypes, the strategist, the disciplined investor, the opportunistic connector, and show how each can translate these cosmic windows into career or business outcomes. Stay tuned for those deep dives. They'll give you the detailed calendars, scripts, and templates that make it much easier to act when the right month arrives. But before we move forward, one last immediate action. Pick your top 2 months from the ones we've already discussed, March, May, July, September, November, and put a 30-minute block on your calendar in the week before each to review the 3 readiness items you created. Commit to being ready enough. That simple commitment raises your odds the universe, or at least the energetic window Jane Dixon predicts, finds you ready to win. Now get a fresh sheet of paper. We're about to dig into Leo's full month-by-month playbook. Leo, the visibility monarch, full month-by-month playbook. For Leo, Jane Dixon's 2026 pattern reads like a rising public profile that, if handled with intention, translates into real status and financial lift. The months to mark on your calendar are February, June, and September, with November showing signs of culmination if earlier work is executed well. These windows are when platforms, partnerships, and curated exposure are most likely to deliver outsized returns for Leos who prepare the right narrative and the right delivery. February functions as an opening gate. In Jane Dixon's notes, February appears as a month when doors open to curated stages. Invitations to speak, a high visibility placement, or an introduction that positions you differently in your field. For many Leos, this will feel like a sudden uptick in credibility. But the forecast's nuance is clear. The quality of exposure matters more than mere reach. A mass appearance that doesn't align with your core message can drain resources. A focused appearance in front of the right audience converts. June is a consolidation and expansion window. Work you began earlier is ready to scale, and partnerships forged carefully in spring can begin to produce measurable traction. Jane's pattern language for June suggests a mix of behind-the-scenes negotiation and public rollout. Think strategic collaborations, co-branded projects, or productized services that position Leos as authorities rather than just personalities. September reads like acceleration and leverage. The spotlight gets brighter and people notice who has a polished offering. For Leos who have spent the earlier months refining messaging and creating a clear funnel, September can feel like the moment where visibility finally converts to recurring or sizable opportunities. November shows up in Jane Dixon's notes as a potential culmination month. Contracts can be finalized, reputation upgrades can convert into platform agreements, and reputation-based revenue can consolidate. But November only pays off if the February to September runway has been built, and if systems exist to capture the attention. Behavioral levers for Leo are about curation, not amplification. focus on partnerships that elevate your credibility. Create one signature story you can tell consistently, and put work into a frictionless path from discovery to engagement. A big audience is only useful if that audience knows what to do next. Concrete things to prepare now include polishing one flagship narrative that communicates transformation in a single paragraph, creating a 2-minute pitch, and a 1-page media kit that outlines your authority, audience, and prior results, and planning a targeted outreach list of 3 to 5 decision-makers, event producers, podcast hosts, or platform curators you can contact in the 30 days before February and again before September. Immediate practical actions for Leo. Prepare your narrative package now: a concise 1-paragraph value statement, a 2-minute pitch video, and a 1-page media kit. These assets let you respond instantly to visibility windows, map 3 curated platforms, and create tailored outreach messages for each that emphasize mutual value rather than self-promotion. Memorable image: Leo in 2026 is a monarch being invited to the right courts. Not every stage, but the ones that crown you. Interpretation note: Jane Dixon's writing repeatedly highlights early and late-year months for reputation elevation. Applying February, June, and September to Leo emphasizes her pattern that platform elevation often arrives in stages: an opening, a scale, and an acceleration, with late-year culmination if the earlier runway is built. This is an interpretation of her broader month-by-month emphasis on curated visibility and authority windows. Month-by-month tactical calendar for Leo. January. Quiet preparation. Use January to audit public assets, bios, headshots, website, and testimonials. This is the month to align what you present publicly with the transformation you want recognized. February. Door-opening visibility. Prepare a rapid response kit so you can accept and leverage invitations. Have speaking one-sheets and short clips ready to send within 24 hours. March-May. Relationship building and pilot collaborations. Use these months to pitch curated partnerships and test 1 or 2 featured appearances that are deliberately chosen for the audience fit, not reach. June-August. Scale and productize. Convert showings into offers that can be delivered at scale. A signature workshop, a cohort, or a high-ticket program with a clear fulfillment plan. September. Major visibility acceleration. Ensure your funnel is optimized and that you can handle inbound interest without manual bottlenecks. October. Polish and finalize proposals. If a platform is interested for November, send polished proposals and terms. November. Consolidation and closure. Turn public opportunities into formal agreements and record the outcomes for next year's scaling. December. Rest and review. Document wins, update your media kit, and plan Q1 activations. How a Leo converts a spike into a stable upgrade. A common Leo pitfall is treating visibility as the endpoint. To turn a spike into a durable upgrade, build a low-friction path from discovery to payment or partnership. That means clear calls to action that funnel the right prospects into a defined next step: an application form, a consultation call slot, or an automated welcome that delivers value and asks for a deeper commitment. When the September window brightens, Leos who have built that path are those who convert applause into authority and authority into revenue. Scorpio, the strategic lever, full month-by-month playbook. Scorpio's 2026 forecast in Jane Dixon's notes reads like quiet negotiations and strategic positioning that can produce outsized leverage. The months that appear most potent for Scorpio are April, August, and November, with April setting negotiation tone, August creating the space for deep alignment, and November serving as a month where private arrangements come to fruition. April is a month of strategic initiation. Jane Dixon's pattern language suggests Scorpio's strength lies in private conversations and calibrated influence. April will reward those who prepare negotiation points, backdoor introductions, and compact proposals that respect confidentiality and emotional intelligence. This is not a month for loud announcements. It's a month for precise positioning and relationship investment. August looks like an activation window for strategic shifts. That could mean renegotiating terms, formalizing partnerships, or repositioning a product or service for a different audience. August's energy supports depth, longer conversations, staged pilots, and careful due diligence. For Scorpios, this is the time to use discretion and focus on deals that amplify long-term control rather than short-lived gains. November again functions as a culmination moment for many Scorpios in Jane Dixon's notes. Agreements that began quietly can surface as formalized contracts, equity partnerships, or major project launches. For Scorpios who have been patient and strategic, November offers the chance to convert influence into structural leverage. Behavioral levers for Scorpio include confidentiality, strategic patience, and negotiation clarity. Scorpios should take care to document terms, ensure clear expectations, and use their emotional acuity to read counterparties. The forecast favors depth over breadth. A single, well-negotiated relationship can outperform many small deals. Practical steps for Scorpio now include creating a negotiation binder that lists key objectives, acceptable concessions, and non-negotiables. Identifying 3 people who could introduce you to leverage partners in April and August, and preparing discrete pilot proposals that allow potential collaborators to see results without full commitments. Immediate practical actions for Scorpio. Assemble a negotiation binder outlining your goals, boundaries, and fallback positions, so you enter April conversations with clarity and control. Prepare 3 discrete pilot proposals that can be offered at limited scale in August to demonstrate fit and provide the basis for larger November agreements. Memorable image: Scorpio in 2026 is a locksmith finding the right tumblers. Quiet, precise moves that open a heavy door. Interpretation note: Jane Dixon's month-by-month narrative emphasizes private leverage months for Scorpio. Mapping April, August, and November to Scorpio's strategic opportunities reflects her consistent focus on negotiation windows and private alignment phases in her 2026 notes. This is an interpretation to align the title's Win Big framing with Scorpio's discrete path to major gains. Month-by-month tactical calendar for Scorpio. January-March, relationship inventory and trust building. Use early months to map key partners, referenceable wins, and potential negotiation openings. Cultivate rapport and seed conversations without urgency. April, private negotiations and positioning. Enter April with clear objectives. Use direct but discreet outreach to propose pilots or exploratory agreements. May-July, test and validate pilots. Run small, controlled pilots to prove impact and to create data points for bigger asks in August and November. August, formalize and scale. Move pilots into expanded agreements, refine terms, and create clear milestones for a November closing. September-October, internal alignment and documentation. Ensure legal and operational readiness for any agreed-upon scale. Prepare contracts and operational playbooks. November, close and convert. Execute on the legal and financial agreements, set governance and reporting structures that lock in long-term leverage. December, protect and plan. Make sure the structures you put in place have oversight, transition plans, and a growth roadmap for the next year. How Scorpio protects upside and converts influence. Scorpios excel when they protect margin and control terms. If you're Scorpio, avoid verbal-only agreements. Instead, use a staged approach, a pilot, mutually agreed milestones, and clear performance reviews. That cadence makes it easier to scale without surprise. Document everything and design governance that secures ongoing involvement or residual upside if that aligns with your goals. Capricorn, the structural climber. Full month-by-month playbook. Capricorn's energy in Jane Dixon's 2026 reading looks institutional and cumulative. The months that appear most meaningful for Capricorns are January, July, and December, with January as an initiation and positioning month. July offering growth through added responsibilities or promotions, and December serving as a month where formal restructurings or promotions can convert into tangible status and recurring benefits. January is a natural time for Capricorns to set professional foundations. In Jane's notes, January often reads as the month where procedural and governance moves catch the most attention. Internal reviews, promotion cycles, and strategic planning that puts Capricorns on a path to higher formal responsibilities. Use January to communicate value to decision-makers and to align processes that support upward movement. July is a mid-year activation window. Jane Dixon's patterns suggest July can bring recognition that translates into new responsibilities or project leadership, opportunities that, when leveraged correctly, translate into long-term income stability. For Capricorns, July rewards professionalism, reliability, and documented results. December functions as a consolidation month. That's when promotions finalize, budgets are set, and organizational moves convert into structural upgrades that matter for years. Capricorns who have built incremental wins through the year can find December is when the institution catches up and rewards sustained performance. Behavioral levers for Capricorn include consistent documentation of impact, governance-minded framing of proposals, and a willingness to take on visible responsibility with deliverables that can be scaled. Capricorns should frame asks in institutional language, how this reduces risk, increases revenue, or systematizes processes. Practical preps for Capricorn include collecting performance data and testimonials, preparing a concise promotion or restructure proposal that ties to organizational KPIs, and mapping the stakeholders whose support you will need in July and December. Immediate practical actions for Capricorn. Collect and document your most relevant performance metrics and create a one-page case that shows the link between your work and the organization's goals. Have this ready for January conversations. Identify 3 institutional allies and schedule short alignment conversations in June so your July opportunities have visible advocates. Memorable image. Capricorn in 2026 is a climber who replaces loose pegs with steel anchors. Each added responsibility becomes a rung on a ladder that reaches higher. Interpretation note: Jane Dixon's notes emphasize institutional timing windows for Capricorns. Assigning January, July, and December to Capricorn highlights her recurring language about promotion cycles, formal recognition, and structural elevation across the calendar. This interpretive mapping translates her institutional emphasis into month-specific preparation windows. Month-by-month tactical calendar for Capricorn. January, position and present. Use the start of the year to present a one-page case for promotion or structural change. Communicate how your role scales outcomes. February, June. Deliver and document. Focus on delivering measurable results and logging them in a central dossier that can support mid-year asks. July. Visibility into leadership. Step into visible responsibilities and ensure your contributions are referenced in stakeholder forums. August, November. Systematize outcomes. Use this period to convert ad hoc wins into repeatable processes that reduce your organization's risk in scaling your role. December. Consolidate promotions and formal changes. Finalize agreements and set up the operating cadence for the next year. Year-end review. Archive evidence and prepare governing documents or SOPs that ensure the new status is durable. How Capricorns convert promotions into lasting gains. Capricorns succeed when they translate status into systems. If you win a promotion or added responsibilities in July or December, immediately articulate operating procedures and key performance measures that make your role less dependent on your personal labor and more on institutionalized processes. That structuralization is what converts a one-time raise or title into enduring upside. Comparative synthesis. Why these 6 signs stand out together. When you step back from the detailed playbooks, a clear pattern emerges across Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Leo, Scorpio, and Capricorn. Jane Dixon's notes for 2026 show a cluster of signals that combine timing windows with behavior-specific leverage points. For some signs, momentum manifests through decisive action and launches. For others, through systems and structural elevation. For others still, through reputation and strategic partnerships. What ties the 6 signs together is not a single mechanism, but the presence of both catalytic months and practical levers that can turn those months into durable results. Aries brings the willingness to start and to sprint at the right moment. Taurus brings the patience and the routine that allow compound growth. Gemini brings communication and conversion mechanisms. Leo brings curated visibility. Scorpio brings quiet, high-leverage negotiation. Capricorn brings institutional momentum and formal scales. Jane Dixon's strongest language in the 2026 files points to combinations of early or mid-year momentum, March, May, July, and late-year closures, September, November, December, for these signs. That constellation of openings and closings is why they are highlighted as poised to win big when action meets timing. Common themes among these 6 include the imperative to have systems in place to capture attention, the importance of aligning reputation with opportunity, and the repeated signaling of particular months as windows for acceleration and consolidation. That is, the astrology provides timing and tendency. The human actions convert the tendency into results. Practical archetype mapping, who you are, and what to do next. Across the 6 signs, 3 practical archetypes repeatedly appear in Jane Dixon's notes and in the patterns we've been mapping. The strategist, the disciplined investor, broadly speaking, someone who designs systems, and the opportunistic connector. Each archetype translates the cosmic windows into different action sets. If you're a strategist, often Scorpio or Capricorn energy, your job is to plan negotiations and structure the agreements that lock in upside. Your practical moves are documentation-heavy, pilot agreements, governance terms, and phased rollouts. If you're a disciplined investor or architect, Taurus or Capricorn energy, your job is to build the recurring systems that convert spikes into stability. Your practical moves are process-focused, subscription models, recurring billing, automated onboarding, and margin optimization. If you're an opportunistic connector, Aries, Gemini, or Leo energy, your job is to act quickly on openings, amplify visibility, and create partnerships that scale reach. Your practical moves are outreach-heavy, targeted collaborations, content-to-conversion funnels, and signature narratives. Most people are a hybrid of these archetypes. The practical task is to identify your dominant pattern and then borrow 1 or 2 practices from the others. If you're Aries-level quickness without Taurus-level systems, add the basic recurring scaffolding. If you're a Taurus-level system builder with no Gemini-level amplification, set a plan to test a visibility experiment in March or September. Tactical playbook, how to maximize this energy across signs. This section walks through an actionable, cross-sign framework to increase the odds that the months Jane Dixon highlights actually produce durable results. Remember, this is not financial advice. Use these steps as a timing and mindset framework to prepare and act. They are organizational, behavioral, and communicative moves, not investment prescriptions. The starting assumption is simple. The months Jane Dixon names are windows. Prepare the infrastructure, practice rapid execution, and align relationships so a window becomes a doorway rather than a passing moment. The framework below gives a 90-day, 30-day, and 72-hour plan for any of the 6 signs, plus scripts and templates for outreach and onboarding. 90-day preparation plan. Begin by mapping the months that matter for your sign. If you're Aries, map March, September, and November. If Taurus, map May, July, and November. Gemini maps to March, May, and October. Leo maps to February, June, and September. Scorpio to April, August, and November. Capricorn to January, July, and December. Next, reverse engineer the 3 months leading up to each target month. For each window, assign 2 concrete deliverables, 1 visibility or partnership task, and 1 systems or capture task. The visibility task creates demand. The systems task ensures you can handle it. Over the 90 days before a target month, schedule the following rhythms. In month 3, focus on content and outreach experiments that test the messaging. In month 2, lock down pilot agreements or guest spots and build capture funnels so interest can be converted. In month 1, finalize legal templates or process maps, run rehearsal sprints, and make your rapid response kit available. 30-day pre-window checklist. 30 days before any named month, do the following. Check that your one-page clarity doc is up to date. Confirm partner outreach messages and schedule outreach. Ensure contracts and invoices are ready and that one person knows how to execute basic onboarding. Run a 72-hour simulation where you convert a hypothetical lead into a paying client or partner. 72-hour execution sprint. This is a crucial tactical tool in Jane Dixon's practical recommendations. Practice responding quickly. The sprint goes like this. Day 1, initiated outreach and prepare the pitch or proposal. Day 2, follow-ups, finalize the offer details, and prepare the onboarding sequence. Day 3, simulate or run the onboarding, process the first invoice or agreement, and collect the first feedback. The aim is to remove friction between visibility and conversion, so that when a real window arrives, you can move in hours, not days. Scripts and templates, language you can adapt. Use a concise discovery script. I've been following the work you've done with X, and I see a clear way to bring Y to your audience. Could we explore a brief pilot that demonstrates value with minimal commitment? That sentence frames value and reduces risk. For onboarding, prepare a simple welcome message that outlines next steps, expected outcomes, and a single point of contact. Keep language clear, respectful, and oriented to mutual benefit. Operational readiness, systems that matter. Prioritize 3 systems that make the difference between a spike and a win. First, a payment and invoicing system that processes funds quickly. Second, an onboarding flow that sets expectations and delivers a first positive outcome within the first 30 days. Third, a reporting rhythm, even a single-sheet report, that demonstrates impact and makes it easy to ask for expansion or referral. Guardrails and common pitfalls. Jane Dixon's notes caution about 2 recurring mistakes. 1 is misaligned visibility, accepting a big stage that reaches the wrong audience. 2 is underpreparedness, having a spike but no way to capture or scale it. The guardrail is simple. Always ask, who is in the audience and what is the next step for them? If you can answer both quickly and have that step automated or templated, you're prepared. Psychological readiness, the ready enough threshold. We've referenced this before because it matters. Decide what ready enough looks like for your offer. Your list should include a clear price or fee structure, a 1-paragraph offer description, and a basic onboarding promise, what you deliver first and when. If those 3 things exist, you can reasonably act into a window without perfectionism stalling you. Cross-sign 30-day rapid checklist. Implement immediately. Do one focused thing this week. Create a 1-page clarity document that answers 3 questions. Who is your ideal collaborator or client? What exact transformation do you provide? What is the precise next step you want them to take? Put this document where you can share it in under 5 minutes. 3 immediate actions that everyone should implement now. These are the 3-step checklist Jane Dixon's pattern suggests all 6 signs do before their windows. They are practical, quick, and non-prescriptive. First, create your 1-page clarity document. Concise, shareable, and centered on transformation and the next step. This converts curiosity into opportunity. Second, build or update a simple contract and invoice template and ensure you or a trusted contact can send it within 24 hours. Speed reduces leakage. Third, identify your top 5 potential partners or platforms and prepare a 60-second pitch for each. Reach out with value-first language in the 30 days before your high-impact month. not financial advice, for timing and mindset context only. This reminder is important. The guidance in this video is a timing and organizational framework drawn from Jane Dixon's 2026 patterns. It is not financial advice and not a promise of income. Use it to align action with opportunity and pair it with your own due diligence and professional counsel where appropriate. Detailed pre-window templates and scripts you can copy. Below are practical templates for outreach, onboarding, and rapid response that can be adapted across signs. These are designed to be short enough for email, DM, or a quick phone outreach. Outreach template, value first, 60-90 seconds. Begin with a one-line reference to the other person's work. State, in one sentence, why you think there's fit. Offer a low-risk pilot or mutual value exchange. Close with a one-question call to action. Would you be open to a 20-minute exploratory call next week? Keep the tone respectful and collaborative, and always emphasize what you bring as a solution to a problem they care about. Quick onboarding message, first 48 hours. Thank the person, confirm the first deliverable and the timeline, and give one action the new client or partner can do now. Attach the invoice and ask for confirmation of receipt. This message reduces confusion and sets expectations early. 72-hour sprint playbook, what to rehearse. Practice the following in a simulated sprint. Respond to a lead with a one-page clarity doc. Send the contract template instantly. Deliver a first short value item within 72 hours. And request an initial testimonial or feedback that can be used for future pitches. The rehearsal lowers the friction when a real window opens. Case examples. How archetypes use the year's windows. A few quick, illustrative scenarios will help you visualize application without promising outcomes. Archetype, the opportunistic connector, Aries, Gemini, Leo blend. An Aries who plans for March uses January and February to prepare a 72-hour sprint kit. When an opportunity comes, they execute a precise launch and then hand off delivery to a Taurus-like system builder. The March spark becomes a pilot that scales in July and converts in September. Archetype, the system builder, Taurus, Capricorn blend. A Taurus focuses on May and July to stabilize recurring revenue. They use the months before to build subscription or retainer structures. When July brings extra demand, the system absorbs it, and November strengthens renewal cycles. Archetype, the strategic negotiator, Scorpio, Capricorn blend. A Scorpio uses April and August to negotiate a co-creation agreement with a platform. They pilot in August and formalize governance in November, so they receive a share of ongoing revenues rather than one-off fees. Each scenario illustrates how the months Jane Dixon highlights can be used as launch points, with follow-through that locks in more than momentary reward. What to do 30 days before your sign's most important month. This is a focused checklist for the final 30-day sprint before a high-impact month. It's intentionally simple so you can implement immediately. Update your one-page clarity doc, confirm your top outreach targets, and send a warm value-first pitch, and run a 72-hour simulation to ensure your rapid response kit is functional. If you have time, recruit one trusted person to act as a conversion partner who can help you execute onboarding tasks quickly. Handling uncertainty. What if the months shift? Astrology can indicate likely windows, but real life is messy. If the expected month is slow, don't treat it as failure. Use the slow period to deepen relationships, iterate offers, and prepare for the next named window. Jane Dixon's forecast emphasizes pattern and rhythm. Sometimes the energy delays or extends. The key advantage is the readiness you build. That readiness is portable and compounds. Signs that you're converting a spike into a durable win. Pay attention to the signals that suggest a moment is turning into a structure. First, recurring requests rather than one-off asks. Second, partners asking for scaled engagement or renewals. Third, systems that allow you to hand off work without losing quality. If you see these signals after a high-impact month, the odds you've converted attention into lasting benefit improve. Common mistakes and how to fix them. A few mistakes show up repeatedly in Jane Dixon's patterns. One is chasing every bright opportunity and diluting effort. The fix is to use your one-page clarity doc as a filter. Only accept openings that align. Another mistake is delaying documentation. The fix is to spend a single afternoon creating a contract and invoice template. Speed matters more than perfection. Actionable example scripts for outreach and onboarding. An outreach example. Hi name, I admire how you've built X. I have a short pilot that demonstrates Y for your audience with minimal commitment. Could we explore a 20-minute call next week to see if there's a fit? For onboarding, welcome. Here's what will happen over the next 14 days. Please confirm receipt of the attached agreement so we can begin on date. If you have a preferred time to meet, reply with 2 options. How to use the downloadable month-by-month checklist. The final CTA will offer a downloadable PDF that mirrors the month-by-month windows for the 6 signs and includes copy-paste templates for outreach and onboarding. Use it as an organizational tool. Print it, add your dates, and schedule the 30-minute pre-window reviews. Remember, the PDF is an aid for timing and mindset. It is not a guarantee of outcomes. Final 3-point checklist. Implement this tonight. Do these 3 things before you close this video. First, write your one-page clarity document and save it to a place you can access from your phone. Second, prepare or update a simple contract and invoice template you can send within 24 hours. Third, pick your next 2 high-impact months from the list that applies to your sign and put a 30-minute readiness review on your calendar 1 week before each. Final interpretation and editorial notes. Across Jane Dixon's 2026 forecast files, the strongest language for winning big clusters around specific months that repeat for many signs, March, May, July, September, and November. Where the transcript emphasized private negotiation or slow institutional elevation, we translated that into strategic windows for Scorpio and Capricorn respectively. Those interpretive steps are labeled as interpretation throughout the script because the title requires a specific win big framing for 6 signs. The selections and month mappings are consistent with Jane Dixon's pattern language, while acknowledging that astrology indicates potential windows rather than guarantees. Closing push, urgency and encouragement. If Jane Dixon's forecast is accurate, 2026 offers a set of rare windows. The urgency here isn't panic, it's the reality that specific months repeat across many sign readings. When timing crops up repeatedly, the practical advantage goes to those who prepare now. The months won't wait for perfection. They favor readiness. So do the simple organizational work and practice the rapid response sprints. Preparation combined with the right month can shift outcomes more than passive hoping. Final CTA and sign-off. If you want a ready-made month-by-month checklist that lays out the exact windows and includes copy-paste outreach and onboarding templates tailored to each of the 6 signs, download the free PDF linked in the description. It's an organizational tool to help you act quickly and responsibly when your months arrive. Also, if you want a deep dive video focused only on your sign with exact weekly calendars and scripts, check the companion sign-specific breakdowns in the playlist after you download the PDF. Remember, Jane Dixon's forecast points to opportunity and timing. Your discipline, clarity, and readiness determine whether that opportunity becomes a lasting gain. Prepare the systems, rehearse the 72-hour sprints, and line up the partnerships that multiply your reach. If you do that, 2026 could be a year when timing and action combine to create real momentum. Thanks for watching. Get your one-page clarity doc out now, schedule those 2 30-minute readiness reviews, and download the month-by-month checklist to keep everything organized. Here's to being ready when the moment arrives, and to turning Jane Dixon signals into the structured, sustainable gains you deserve.